All right. Hello and welcome back to my Facebook Live series, Digital Strategy State of Digital. And if you remember correctly, or if you're just joining me, I have three programs that I'm going to get into in a little bit. But the first one is on Mondays is Digital Strategy, how to build a breakthrough. Number two is where I'm interviewing a digital leadership guest. And then on Fridays is where we're having marketing, digital marketing question and answer type things. So really cool. I wasn't able to have a program on Friday, so missed the last, what was that, September the 1st. But today it's Labor Day over here, and it's supposed to be a holiday, but doesn't mean that you have to actually stop doing what you enjoy. So today, as I mentioned, is State of Digital, and what I want to talk about is basically what's coming next, right? So finding out the significant frontline trends, the insights and strategies for a successful digital business that will kind of help you get things moving. So welcome to Digital Leadership Facebook Live Breakthrough Series. My name is Doyle Buehler, and my goal is to help you better understand and pursue what matters most in your digital business and how to make a breakthrough with your digital strategy through enhancing and embracing your digital leadership. So I help enterprise and entrepreneurs scale, grow, and create breakthrough for their business and sales through digital leadership. And I'm the author of the book on digital strategy, The Digital Delusion. So the overall purpose of this is to answer one important question, what real world digital strategies actually work for my business. And of course, there's no one size fits all, but the goal here is to help you decide which strategies can work best for you. So today, in today's show, I'm talking about the state of digital, and I'm going to be talking about three sort of current trends that we're seeing in the last little while. Micro moments for your customers from more research from Google. How your voice will disrupt search. Okay, Google, search. See if,
Sorry, I can't help with that yet.
And then we'll interview OK Google as well coming up. And then how Facebook is changing what you can promote and where you can send people as well. Okay, thanks, Google. Anyway, so those are the three issues that I'm talking about. If you do have any comments along the way, please feel free to drop them as questions throughout, and happy to answer them, or even in the replay as well. If you see it and just have some questions or some points or feedback or whatever, please ask and let me know what you're thinking, as well as please would appreciate a like and a share as well. So thank you very much for that. So the first thing I want to talk about is micro moments, and Google sort of pioneered this area quite some time ago with their theory of how we actually interact and how many touch points and how much time it takes, and they called it the zero moment of truth. And we're still obviously seeing that today as we grow more and more digital. The really important thing, though, is that this is tying into what we're calling micro moments. So this is what people are looking for right now. So if you're in a new city, if you're in a new area, if you're in, wanting to discover something right now at this particular moment, businesses have to really sort of look at that type of search and how you can sort of start to implement that. And with that comes, mobile sites and responsiveness and that sort of thing. But it's actually quite surprising. Well, maybe not, but about 53% of people will leave a mobile site if it takes more than three seconds to load, right? So if you can imagine that, if you can't do business in 3 seconds, if you can't entice them with your offer, whether it's for something local, whether it's for something that's really important to them in the moment, they're going to move on. And it kind of gets into some of the things I've talked about previously about, the power of the click and the power of touch. And really, you're one click away from success or failure of your business because there's so much out there. And if your audience is not getting exactly what they want, guess what? They move on. So over half will actually leave your site if it takes more than 3 seconds. So 1001, 1002, 1003, gone, right? So, and sort of pursuant to that, they've actually seen that for every 1 second delay in site load time, conversions fall by about 12%. So why is that important? Well, it's important that you look at how your site is being used, look at how it's actually loading, and there has been a lot of push towards making sure that sites load properly in the mobile space as well, because a lot of the experience is coming from there, and Google is looking at how do you actually develop that experience better, how do you actually make it better for them. So if you're able to do that, that's a great way to start. And Google actually has a site, Test My Site. I think it's testmysite.com, testmysite.thinkwithgoogle.com, rather, where you can actually check your mobile site and see how it compares and that sort of thing. So basically, consumers they really have high expectations, and it's not just consumers; it's B2B as well. If you're running a B2B mobile site, like making sure that you have all the tools in place and that your audience in this particular case can get out and do things as well for you and with you also. So it's not just related to customer, rather business to consumer type thing. It's also business to business as well. So keep that in mind. And like I said before, people are looking increasingly more for in the moment. So last minute plans, are you in this area, same day shipping, because they want to get things done immediately. They're looking for, are you open now? Right. And so in this case, if you are a local business, there's a lot of things that you can do in terms of SEO to project that information of open hours to Google as well. So making sure that is front of mind when you actually develop and continue to grow your audience. So keep looking for that, for those tiny little moments. And again, it's not just people are not doing things in a big expansive type manner. It's like, what are the little triggers along the way? What are the micro moments along this path that people are looking for? And that's how people will actually find you and be able to work with you as well. So making sure, again, check your site, making sure that it loads properly, that it's very, very quick, and that you have all the tools to create a great experience in a very short amount of time. So keep looking at how you can do that. Second topic I want to talk about is how voice search rather will change the future of search engine optimization. And I love being live because we get all those extra sounds as well. But if you haven't noticed, there's a lot of, I talked about this last week as well, but there's a lot of voice activated search that's coming into play as we get more and more into it. So it's a matter of how you can actually use it to be able to search for things. And so you're going to have to look at how does your search comply, and how does your search actually look when somebody speaks it as opposed to when somebody types it in. We're getting inundated with the devices as well. We now have the Amazon Echo, and you have Siri, which has been going for quite some time. And then you also, the newest entrance is obviously Google with their Google Home devices as well. So you have to look at how do you actually apply that. People are going to be using voice search more and more regularly. And so it's not going to be quite as weird looking or odd sounding when you actually talk to your device or talk out loud to when nobody's in the room, kind of thing. So keep that in mind, that those perceptions are dropping as well. But it comes down to how do you actually look at people who will be searching for you with an audio search. And hopefully I'll maybe try a few examples later as we get into this as well, and with Google Home. But what they're looking for is use of natural speech patterns. So making sure that your site is optimized for people, how people would actually say things and how people would describe things. So a lot of times when you're typing in a search, it kind of becomes, you're trying to think of, okay, well, how would a computer think that I'm looking for this type thing? So it's really important that you look at the natural speech that you would be talking about. If you're asking a question to somebody naturally, like where is the nearest coffee shop or something like that, which is definitely helpful in terms of your search and whatnot. So take a look at, so how is natural speech patterns going to be affecting me? Take a look at your longer tail keywords, right? And these are, again, the words that are not necessarily primary, but they're sort of secondary keywords. And take a look at how you can actually utilize those words a little bit easier throughout your content, throughout your site, and making sure that they work quite well. And again, the third one is make sure that you have an emphasis on mobile as well. So if you want to test your site to make sure that it's mobile friendly, again, for this upcoming voice search, which is going to be taking the world by storm very, very quickly as we get into it, it's very important to be able to understand that your site is working properly. So something like natural search, natural speech patterns rather in search can be vital to a business success. So for example, I can ask, hey Google, what's the nearest coffee shop to me?
Starbucks is on 1102 First Avenue in New York and is 253 feet away.
There you go. So as you can see, like it's very intuitive. It just simply answers what I'm looking for. Obviously, you have to tell it, but it knows where you are and it can help you with that. So you have to look at how can you actually help your consumers. And again, this doesn't necessarily just business to consumer, but business to business as well. What kind of searches will they be using to help them find you, and how can you actually capitalize on that? So some really important things. So again, emphasis on mobile, look for the long tail keywords, and look for how you would say that in sort of more of a natural speech. So, all right, cool. Thanks for joining me, Gabriel. Glad you can make it, Gabe. Thanks for the comment as well. So, cool. So the last item I want to talk about also is what Facebook has been doing recently in terms of boosting your posts and that sort of thing. So it's really important to take a look at where is Facebook going to allow for boosting posts and that sort of thing. So I've actually got a couple of links that I'll be showing in the notes once the video is done. But basically they're revamping. Before you could boost posts, and honestly, boosting posts is one of those things that it's kind of helpful, but not really. It's kind of helpful if you're not sure where to start. And that's kind of why Facebook actually put it in place, was just to boost a post so that you can get a little bit more exposure. Because as you know, people being able to see your posts has dropped dramatically, and that's probably something that I'll talk about next week as well. So, but in the meantime, they basically dropped out the categories that haven't been getting a lot of searches and haven't been sort of people have been using. So some of the things like boosting of share products from shops, boosting the sharing of a note, boosting the share of a poll, some cultural moments, share of comments, boosting a change of a profile picture, boosting a sports event, boosting a file upload or a share. There's a whole bunch of them. But anyway, the important thing to understand is that what this does really is say you got to spend a little bit more time in developing proper paid campaigns, because Facebook is a paid service, for lack of a better term. Yes, there's the free social media side, but it's mostly a paid service for businesses. So you have to think of how can I actually create a campaign that will work properly, that will work appropriately for my business, and what do I want to promote. And if you develop it as a campaign, then it's really not too big of a deal, because that's how you're able to grow that business, grow the audience in terms of exposure and reach and that sort of thing. So don't think sort of short term, oh, this is a great post, maybe I'll boost it. Think of it longer term. And again, that comes down to a lot in digital strategies. What's the long-term outcome? What's the long-term aspects that I want to develop here, so that it can actually reach a greater state of audience as well, that they're able to do. And aside from that, and moving on from that, so now you can't boost as many posts. So again, I'll have the link to show you which ones you can't. That'll be effective the middle of September. But they're also looking at how do they actually reduce the sort of clickbait that's out there. And that's obviously one of my favorite topics too. But it's a matter of deciding, like when you send somebody from your Facebook ad to another page, Facebook is also looking at that as well. And that gets into my final point, where you have to develop landing pages, you have to develop campaigns that are productive, that are helpful to your audience. Otherwise, they're going to go in, you're not going to get as much reach, and your ad cost is going to go up, and your experience is going to go down. So keep that in mind. So when you are setting up a campaign, when you are setting up people to go to a specific landing page, rather, here's some things to look at. Don't have videos that autoplay, right? So as soon as the page loads, the video starts, Facebook says, no, don't like that. And really, it's not conducive to a good experience when you're doing that, because they might be at work, they might be in a meeting, they just kind of want to check things out. So when they go somewhere, they don't want this video rolling, kind of thing. So that's the big thing. Making sure that if you do have opt-in forms, that they're easy to find. So if you're sending them information, if you're wanting them to subscribe, then you have to get that information to them very, very quickly. And the third one that I'll go into now is creating a good mobile experience as well. So Facebook and Google and everybody else is looking at a great mobile experience. So you have to be able to do that. So again, if you're using campaigns, paid campaigns, or boosted posts or whatever, look at that experience that happens after they leave Facebook as well, because Facebook is looking at that to say, hey, this is important for our users. We want to give them the best experience possible. And we can't do that if you're creating and sort of distributing crap out there. So keep that in mind as you get into that. All right, cool. So that's all the 3 topics that I wanted to talk about today. Thanks everybody for watching. Really appreciate your time. And let's just get to one spot here. So hopefully those ideas have been helpful, talking about micro moments with Google, how to look at. Number 2 is looking at how to build up search in terms of actual speech recognition, and then how to deal with the Facebook changing their boosted posts and their landing pages as well. So thanks for watching. As I mentioned, there's 3 core breakthroughs that we go through as part of these Digital Leadership Facebook Live shows that deep dives into your breakthrough. The State of Digital, where I talk about specific ideas and insights happening right now, how they affect your business and what you can do about it. Digital Leadership Guest, which is coming up on Wednesday, where I interview an expert in the field and discuss their strategies for success in the online space. And then finally, a Digital Discovery, a strategy and marketing question and answer, where I review tools, answer questions about or talk about specific challenges that affect you and may be holding you back. So without further ado, thank you so much. Hope you enjoyed it. Please like, please share. Please send me some comments as well. And I will see you online.